guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. How you guys doing? We have the Bug Man, the Lord of the Flies, Demon Spawn, Vildrax. He is a fragment summon in the game right now. Some people are saying this dude is trash. Easy skip, easy pass for everybody. Other people, I watched a couple videos that were kind of cautiously optimistic about this champion. Today, I will share, after building him and trying him basically everywhere and on different teams and with the other Hex debuffers, I will give you my opinion. He does have a leech on the A1 with about 500 books required. On the A2, he has an AoE Hex on a 3-turn cooldown. He is placing this so it does not predicate it on landing a critical hit. Doesn't make him super unique because Rule the Huntmaster is the same way. However, nice to have it on an epic champion. On the 8th Hex, that is. On the A3, an AoE attack on a 4-turn cooldown, 100% chance of increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs by 1 turn. Not bad. I like that ability. I like that ability on Thylesia. I like it on Vildrax. Only difference is his is on a 4 versus a 3-turn cooldown. When hitting enemies under Hex debuffs, also has an 80% chance of putting one of their skills on cooldown. Hey, that's not bad either, really. And then his passive has a chance of stealing a heal, but it does not work against bosses. 30% chance for me. This is an extra added bonus to his kit and not the feature or the main highlight of his kit. So there it is, guys. What do you think? 2 AoE attacks. I think this guy, first of all, multiplier's not too bad on this champion. However, multiplier's not bad, but he has no base attack, so he's hitting very, very softly, especially for a champion with 2 AoE attacks. Now, you put this entire kit with these amazing base stats on HP and defense on somebody who can actually hit, then maybe I'm a lot higher on this champion. However, let me just cut to the chase. I don't think people should skip this fusion because, as I've said now for a while, I've said it ever since they added Thea the Tomb Angel. I put out a video talking about this around the same time they added Rule, right? Or right before they added him to the game. They announced him, but they didn't add him. I think that 2022 Hex is going to be very important, right? They keep adding more and more champions with Hex. Right now, I mean, what are we doing with Hex in the game? Just a quick little tangent for you guys, right? What are we doing with Hex? We're not doing much with Hex, right? We're not doing much. However, okay, one thing at a time, Ash, one thing at a time. Seer is still the strategy when it comes to wave clearing in this game, anywhere you are. Level 25 dungeons, level 20 dungeons, level 24 dungeons, every Doom Tower, wave that you can possibly go against. It's all about Seer. Now, what happens if they ever nerf Seer? God forbid, I hope they don't. They shouldn't. They ought not to, because it saves us a lot of time. She saves us a lot of time in a game where time is a very valuable asset. But let's say they do something to Seer. Let's say, let's think more glass half full here. Let's think a Hydra clan boss has something to do with Hex, that you need Hex debuffers on your team. Well, I think that Hex is going to play an important use case eventually in this game. I feel like Plarium almost, to put it a disrespectful way, I don't know why I'm saying that, but I feel like they're going to shove Hex down our throats eventually, right? I think that eventually we're going to have to use this debuff, where personally, I'd rather actually never see Hex in the game, and instead, I'd rather see Bomb utilized. Like, buff Bomb, something they already have in the game, but that's another tangent for another day. Anyway, your Takata, I think that's how you say her name.
Your Takata.
It means no worries for the rest.
Your Takata's the other bug, and I pulled her yesterday. So I think if you guys want me to, I can make a tandem video on these champions together tomorrow for you guys, if I have time to build her. So let me know, especially in the first few hours of this video, if you want to see me do that. I'll try and make it happen for you guys. So her kit kind of sucks, but she has this very cool passive, Bloodborne. Whenever either this champion or an ally lands a critical hit on an enemy under Hex debuff, has a 25% chance of placing a poison on the enemy for 1 turn. Wow. So critical hits. So it could be like a 3-time hitter on an A1, and every shot immediately has a chance of landing poison? That's actually not bad, especially if you pair her with the right champions, right? So I'm thinking maybe her on a tandem team with, I don't know. And that stacks with, like, I could use that with another champion like Nethril, for example, right? Who already has poison on his A1. That will stack on a 3-time hitter. So we get a 50% chance of placing it through his kit, and then more. Anyway, some interesting possibilities there. Am I wrong or am I right? Anyway, let me know if you want to see that tomorrow. I'll try to make that happen for you guys. So back to the subject at hand. I think the only, okay, this is a little bit, exaggeratory, but I think the best way to build him is a stun set. I was going to say the only way to build him is a stun set, but I mean, who is using this champion right now? Right now, I don't think many people are. People who don't have Seer and are who trying to clear waves faster, maybe? So let's talk about him really quickly. We already went over his kit. Masteries wise, this is the build that you want to use with Fearsome Presence as a tier 6 mastery option. If you're still trying to clear dungeon waves, if you're really trying to get the full effect, the full utility of this champion in as a CC champion, right? Trying to lock down the opponents. He already has that A3 where he's putting one skill on cooldown if they're under Hex. That's great. He already has 2 AoE attacks. So put him in a stun set and then bump that stun set up from an 18 to a 23% chance of stunning the opponent on every hit. So I think that's the best move for a progression player. You're trying to clear his content for the first time or make it a little bit faster. Now, if you're in the boat where you're not using him just to crowd control, you're using him as more of a damage dealer, even though he's not dealing much damage at all, but using him as a hex placer, I guess is a better way to put it, and then a little bit of extra damage on top of it, I wouldn't go with Fearsome Presence. Instead, I would go with Helm Smasher as my tier 6 option. Just get a little bit of damage from this champion. Of course, nothing wrong with also going War Master to help out against bosses. So you really have 3 options in my mind for masteries. I guess, 4 options. You can always go Eagle Eye if you're struggling on accuracy. Now, I would go Pinpoint Accuracy, but I had enough accuracy already on him. Always make your own decisions on masteries. Read the masteries. Take 5 minutes to actually read what you're putting on these champions. Don't just blindly copy them from, YouTube or from a website. So, okay, let's just bring him into the arena here. So I said stun set. We have accuracy on the banner, we have crit damage on the amulet, and we have defense on the ring. Now, crit damage on the amulet, totally, optional. Go defense, go HP. He has a lot of base defense, 1255, and a lot of base HP, almost 20k. So that's really solid, guys. I mean, his speed is solid too. His attack is really low, dude. He hits very, 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 a wet noodle? Wet cabbage? I forgot what Hades says, but something weak, okay? However, with that said, because I'm not in progression, let me repeat that. Because I'm not in progression, I'm just all about optimization, about getting this champion to be fast, and getting a little bit of damage out of those 2 AoEs. I went with crit rate on the gauntlets. I think that, the majority of you guys, especially progression players, when I say progression, I just mean that you're not in the end game. You're not already clearing all the content. You need to use this dude to try to get you further than where you are right now. I would probably just go HP or defense percentage on the gauntlets, right? Just keep him alive. It scales really easily. I went with crit rate and attack percentage on this build just to get a little bit of damage from him. But again, he's not a damage dealer, but I have the luxury at this point to be like, okay, we'll build him for a little bit of attack, right? Try to get that number a little bit higher because, as I mentioned, or did I not mention, check out his multipliers. If you can get that attack up, I mean, hypothetically, he should be hitting decently hard. Now, keep in mind, he's really not, but...
You don't like me, just say it. I don't...
Look at this, guys. On his A2, he has a 5 multiplier. On his A3, he has a 4.5. So if his attack wasn't 700, he could actually, deal a little bit of damage. But just keep that in mind, So I would go defense or HP on the gauntlets, defense or HP on the chest if you weren't building him. If you're building him for a progression, excuse me. Attack on the, attack on the boots, Ash! Flat stat attack on the boots, ladies and gentlemen. That would be your best choice. I went speed, guys. Really, speed and accuracy are the main stats that I was looking to prioritize. I have 95, 150, 346 with a little bit of defense, a little bit of attack, and some HP as well. So let's see what this bug can do, guys. Let me see, do I have a faction? Do I have Demon Spawn open? I don't. All right, so let's go into the arena to start things out. I'm gonna try setting up here for Rule the Hunt Master. So let me fix this team, I'll be right back. So he's running setup in the arena right now for my man, Rule the Hunt Master, who actually does hit incredibly hard. This is that ability, by the way, he also places a Hex on his A3, so nice to have. By the way, he does auto into his A3, so he doesn't start out placing a Hex, so you need to to go in there and fix his abilities in the AI customizer, or just take it off auto, as I'm going to do for you guys right now. This is kind of a weak team, but I wanted to start out because I don't have this team properly speed tuned. So I'm going to go in with his A2 first. So this is A2. You're going to see the animation and the damage. Animation, pretty cool. Damage, not too bad, right? I mean, like I said, you know, decent multipliers. Granted, a very weak team, but he did, he was going to kill Skullcrown. She must have been so squishy, though. This team was really weak. So now you can come in with Rule, if you have both of them, and land the double hitter on his A2, kill everybody, right? So, not bad. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have a good speed lead, you know, an Arbiter, ideally, for the arena, and you're kind of...
You got to be kidding me.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go after this team. Way to go, Ash. You're really picking the heavy hitters there, Ash. Okay, can we beat him here, guys? I don't know. Okay, my bad on that. Let me pick a more difficult team here. This team is not that much more difficult, but better than the Kale team. It's like, this guy's a beast. Look at him beat Kale, guys. Let's go in here. What I'm going to do is go after a couple more difficult teams, but I'm going to have to put Kymar in here because we're going to keep getting cut in line because we don't have fast enough on our Hexers, right? So we might lose this one right here. I think we will, actually. Let's see. Yeah, I need to really work on the speed here. Ninja taking me down. So we're going to go in. I mean, I can increase the... Okay, I can put a skill... They're not under Hex, Ash. They're not under Hex. So let's go in with that A2 again. We place the Hex. We're not killing anybody. Can we come back in and revive them? Let's steal that Veil maybe from Ninja. Nope, we don't get the steal. Let's revive here. And then let's hope for the best. Speed boost and hope that Tyrell doesn't kill everybody. I need Rule to stay alive. Ah! Dude, this is the problem, right? Now we're just counting on Vildrax to be our damage dealer here, and he's not going to get the job done. Maybe Thea the Tomb Angel could have came in here and done a better job. All right, here's his A3. Boom. So he has that, like, Spider-Man meets, again, Lord of the Flies motif going on aesthetically during his attacks. I actually like the attack animations. I don't know about you guys. So this, okay, he kills Arbiter. He's going to get the job. Maybe not. Ninja, don't take my whole team down, Ninja. Ninja, okay. All right, we're gonna get it done. No, we're not. Maybe we are. I mean, we're not. I don't know. Here we go. Finally. So we barely beat that team. So guys, before we leave the arena, I want to run a quick experiment for you all. So Vildrax, yeah, he's a beast against some underpowered arena teams. Ash, you strategy wizard, you. But is he worth taking up a spot just for the Hex setup on Rule? So let's compare the damage against the same team with and without the Hex setup. And you guys can make the decision, is he worth it or not? So again, we're going to land our debuffs here. Hopefully somebody stays alive on this team. Vogoth, I'm looking at you. Okay, so we have decreased attack on our team. Just keep that into consideration. Let's land those Hexes. And then let's come back again. This is Rules A2. Let's slow it down and watch the damage here. I mean, we're landing a whole extra hit, so we're getting about 20k extra damage. But think about it this way, guys. We're using 2 champions. I mean, we ought to be killing them. 2 AoE attackers, right? We ought to be killing everybody. Now, keep in mind, he did have decreased attack, but the opponents did have the debuffs landed as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this guy is not going to be an arena tandem champion anytime soon with Rule the Huntmaster or with Thea the Tomb Angel. Sure, you can watch, you know, this YouTube video and say, yeah, it kind of works, you know, but then you have to compare them to what you're sacrificing. I could just have Magnar on the team or something like that, and I'd be killing them all in one shot anyway, you know, or Siege Hulk or any other, like a variety of other epic champions. So is he worth the setup for the arena? I'm going to go ahead and say, no, he's not. Let's go against one more team here, guys, just for the heck of it here. This team looks like they're going to absolutely crush me. Level 2, level 2, level 1. Yeah, or plus 1, I should say. Level 3, level 3, level 2. But let's try it out. Okay, so I'm afraid they're just going to take first turn, but whatever. Let's just try it out. And then I'm going to take you into a dungeon with him. I think tomorrow's video, because overall, I'm not super impressed with him. But, as I said before, guys, I do think that this game is just going to keep adding more Hex champions. And I think having a dependable 100% Hex debuff lander on your... Whoa. Hey. It worked out against that team. I mean, all those dupe legendaries, all those empowerments, stands no chance against Vildrax. So before we talk about the long-term usage and viability of Vildrax in the next battle on Ice Golem, let's talk a little bit about two different teams you could use Vildrax in the here and the now. So you can put him in an all-Hex team, which again, we will watch in just a moment here with Thea the Tomb Angel and Rule inside Ice Golem. But right now, we have him on an ultimate kind of crowd control team, right? So we have him in the stun set with Fearsome Presence. Same thing with Bellower with 3 AoE attacks. We have still the Drakes with stun. We have Armina, who has that stun synergy, and then Archmage Helmet. So this team's all about just like the opponents can't win if they never take a turn. And in terms of viability on this champion, not long-term, but short-term, right now, I think that either setting up Hexers or on a team like this, right? Just in there for crowd control. You know, against bosses, you can't steal heals. You do have the leech on the A1, but that's about it, right? I mean, most bosses, you're not putting anything on cooldown either anyway on the A3. So in the here and the now, I think that stun teams or setting up for the Hex, if anybody out there is running Hex teams right now, which I don't think a lot of people are. Let's see the damage here. So the damage is... you know, way less than Bellower, less than half of Bellower, less than half of Archmage Helmet, or about half of Archmage Helmet. And you guys can see for yourselves. I mean, nothing crazy here, but still not an awful champion for crowd control for Doom Tower battles. Let's go ahead and talk about the long-term picture for this champion and jump on into Ice Golem. We got Thea, we got Vildrax, we got Rule, we got Dark Elhain, we got Solar Drakes. As we watch this team, here's my take. I'm going for this dude. I suggest that everybody is not too late. I suggest that you go for him as well. Wait a second. Do we have a debuffer on this squad? We need a debuffer on the squad, right? We need a debuffer. Let's add him. I suggest that everybody goes for this dude because I think that Hex is going to be the future, man. Hex is the future. Let's just put Stag Knight in there. Stag Knight, you can never go wrong with Stag Knight, right? I don't know, guys. I think they're going to keep, as I was saying, they're going to keep adding champions, right? And I feel personally that there's going to be a utility for that other champion. I forgot her name already, but the one with the poison on the passive there. I think that's a really, really cool passive. You can see this squad in tandem. Do you think there's going to be a day that Hex rules all in this game? It sounds weird to say right now because Hex is very underwhelming. But I really do believe just something about them continuing to release more and more Hex champions. As I said, it's almost like they're pushing this on us, this Hex debuff, for better or for worse. So yeah, I think that there's going to be a day where Hex rules all. And these Hex champions' value is going to increase over time. It's a long play. So this is a champion that I am building, or I should say, I am fragment summoning. Something happens to Seer, Hex could be king. I still like Poison a lot more than Hex as a strategy to clear waves because it applies to bosses too, right? Hex right now is really mitigated against bosses. We can't get a ton of extra damage. There's none of those like ninja-like abilities where they're ticking, you know, if they're under Hex, then all poisons and HP burns tick faster or give instant damage. But I think that's going to happen someday. And I think you're going to want these Hex, debuffers. So I think that everybody should be going for this champion. Whether or not you're building him, trying out on a team like this, it's a fun team, but there's better out there right now. I think that Poison is meta. I think that Seer teams are meta. HP Burn is meta right now in the game. Hex is not. But again, the day will come that Hex will rule all. Stay tuned to tomorrow's video. I really want to see how they synergize together, how that passive, how we can get value, extract some value out of that passive. This team, I don't know, are they going to wipe? See that increase the cooldown of skills too? That's handy, man. He's not a trash champion. He's not there yet. He's not there yet. But, and with all the books right now, I'm not sure if I'm justifying anybody, or I feel justified saying everybody should build him right away. Probably not, right? I wouldn't build him on my free-to-play account, not right now. Maybe once I unlock Thea the Tomb Angel and they add a bunch of other Hex champions and they buff Thea, then I'll be playing him, excuse me. So there we have it, guys. He puts out half the damage of Stag Knight. But really, you know, Rule put out a lot of damage, 1.4 million. Thea put out the most damage, 1.6 million. Stag Knight, Soul of the Drakes. Here's the thing about Thea, though. She sucks, man. Even with Hex. Rule has Hex. Vildrax has Hex on this team. And she's still only putting out 1.6 million damage. Let me get to her real quick. This is supposed to be, theoretically, the highest damage dealing ability in the game. Attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 50% for each Hex debuff on the enemy team. Stacks up to 300 extra damage. That's like a 10 multiplier, providing it has all the damage. But it just does, in practice, in reality, she's not dealing a ton of damage, right? And she's placing like 2 random Hexes on her A1. I just still don't like Thea the Tomb Angel. As the queen and the first Hex champion ever added to the game, to me, she still needs a massive buff, even to the multipliers on this A2, because enemy max HP champions still crush Thea the Tomb Angel and crush Hex. So poison, enemy max HP, HP burn, depending against bosses or against waves, seer strategies, they're all right now king. But I think that, you know, eventually Vildrax will have his time. Guys, let me know how you think of this champion. Did you unlock him? Are you going for the fusion? Hopefully this video helped you guys. I think he's a future play, not necessarily right now, but interesting champion to say the least. Let me know again what you guys think of this champion, and as always, take care, guys.